Welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast, where we live with intention. I'm your host, Becky Plautz, and today we're exploring the power of small choices and really how they shape the life you love or not, right? This is the whole idea of understanding that we are choosing to build our life, whether we consciously know it or not. And I'm here to help you get to the conscious part, okay? Get to that intentional living. It's an art, it's a practice, and I'm continuing to learn more and more about this myself, and I want to share it more with you. So, exploring the power of small choices and how they shape the life that we love, one step, one decision at a time is really the conversation today. So, thanks for joining. And here's the truth, right? Every choice that we're making, no matter how small, every size of choice that you're making right now is building up to that life that we're creating. And we don't need to move mountains overnight. We just need to take the next right step. And this is something that I'm actively growing myself in over the last years of really finding that harmony, that balance around what my blissful life is. And, this is where I want to invite you to grab a coffee or a tea, settle in, and let's talk about how those micro decisions can lead to the macro fulfillment in your life. And I'm again, I'll just say that this is something that I continue to grow in, which is why I'm here having this conversation about intentional living and making these choices because I'm someone that wants to go all in or, step out and really meeting in the middle and having space to be in the growth is that harmony and balance for me that I think that so many of us leaders, so many of us, empowered women can really have this idea of if we're not fully in it, then we're fully out of it, and really finding what fulfills us that we can take an action step, a move toward is really, it's a building block for the life that we want to create. So let's talk about how small choices shape our lives. And, really, have you considered how the tiniest decisions, those tiny decisions ripple out to your day, your week, your year, and then your life? I mean, it's so profound to really sit and think about. It can be scary, but I want you to think about how empowering that is. You know, the simple example is choosing to wake up in the morning. Hitting snooze might feel good in the moment. I definitely have done that, still do that, right? Make the choice to sleep in a little bit longer, have a little bit more time in my cozy warm bed. But what is the ripple effect to that decision, to that choice? Well, I can tell you that from experience today, I didn't choose to miss my alarm. I had a mishap that I reset my alarm and it wasn't on sound for some reason. It was on a silent alarm and I didn't notice that. But what the ripple effect of that was is I heard my husband's alarm, which is like an hour and a half later than I wanted to be up. And the ripple of that is that I missed my morning walk. I missed my time for myself to really set the tone of how I want to show up as who I am and remind myself of that. I was feeling rushed, right, to get ready and a little bit stressed out, right? That was the ripple that was happening because I didn't get up on time. Now, the times that I choose to hit snooze are few and far between now. I'll intentionally make my alarm be later because I know I have that space to do that and that my body needs that rest, right? And that feels different than when I'm not choosing it. Like this morning, I didn't choose to hit snooze. I ended up being late waking up, right? And it's generally a choice if we're hitting snooze. And I'm someone that sets my alarm across the room, so that I do get out of bed, and I need to move in order to, consciously make that choice, or have sleepy make that choice. But, understanding that even when it's hard, not if, but when, even when it's hard, it sets the tone for intentionality, for discipline, and for calm when it is a choice, right? And our lives aren't defined by one monumental decision, but by the accumulation, right? The stacking of the little ones that we make every day. It's like planting a seed, right? Some grow into flourishing trees or plants, right? And others don't take root. They don't grow. They don't evolve. They don't get nourishment. They don't get the opportunity to flourish. The key is to plant the seeds that align with your life, with the life you truly desire, right? That vision for yourself, those choices that you're making moment by moment. And that has a ripple effect. I want to share, a deeper story about, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah struggling to prioritize her mental health. She felt overwhelmed. She, was thinking that she needed to overhaul her daily routine, start an intensive mindset program, and completely change her lifestyle all at once. But instead, Sarah chose to make one small change. She focused on one small choice, which was to wake up at the same time every day and give herself space and time to do the things she was jamming into her day in those nooks and crannies, right? Drinking water, giving thanks, praying, reminding herself of who she is through affirmations, and reading personal growth books before her world woke up and would draw her attention, right? She filled herself up first. Now, the simple act of choosing when you wake up can really give you that small win every day. It did for Sarah. She started to feel more hydrated. She, which really motivated her. When you feel hydrated, it gives you more motivation, more energy. So having that intentional choice to wake up at an earlier time so she could hydrate, which motivated her to take a short walk before she showered. That led her to one meal prepping day a week when she took her lunch break, when eventually that led her to releasing weight, feeling more energized, and most importantly, it was building her confidence one choice at a time, right? Like there's a ripple effect that happens. The lesson is here is that there's a compound effect at work with these choices that we're making, especially when they are in alignment with the life that you want to live. They have that bliss in them. Yeah, it may not be great for Sarah to wake up in the morning at that time every day. And yeah, there's a lot of bliss that happens when she fills herself up first and then approaches her family, her clients, her work for the day. She didn't need a grand plan. She needed one step as she stayed present in the moment, knowing it was rippling into her future self that was being affected, right? And I want to talk about some practical tools to making aligned choices. And let me see, there's three that I want to talk about. look at my notes here. So the practical tools, making aligned choices, okay, even when it's feels overwhelming. And it's not an if, it's a when, because we all have those things happen. Uncertainty, surprise moments. And these three practical tools can help guide you. So one is to anchor your choices to your values, right? I talk about this a lot because when we're talking about purpose, it's talking about meaning. So with anchoring your choices to your values, that's you thinking about what really matters most to you. Is it your family? Is it your health? Your creativity? When you're clear, when you're crystal clear on your values, your choices become much easier. For example, if your family is your top priority right now, your top value right now, then the choice to put your phone down at dinner becomes an obvious one, right? Your family is in front of you. You're here to be present. You get this time, you're going to choose to put the phone down. That's a really simple, example to say that that's anchoring your choice to your values. Number two practical tool to guide you would be to ask yourself, what's the next right step for you? When you feel overwhelmed, stop looking at the mountain and focus on the next step in front of you. Maybe it's sending that email that's you keep replaying in your mind, like, oh, I need to say this, and oh, that doesn't sound good, and maybe I need to add this. Maybe it's taking a 5-minute walk outside, 10-minute walk outside to get some fresh air, perspective, just feet to the ground, running outside, walking, whatever it is, right? Or saying no to something that doesn't serve you any longer in this season, maybe forever, who knows, right? But what is the next right step for you right now? And I want to offer you a freebie, actually. I have a worksheet called Connect with Your Next Right Step. And it's here to support you. You can grab it in the show notes. It's a freebie. I would love to support you in just getting some thoughts out, having this process really help you move into action and have that clarity in, minutes. Um, and also think about when you're looking for additional support on having more clarity on what your next step is, having that support and encouraging accountability, you know, you want to be a part of a collaborative community of change makers making a difference in the world with their work, with your work. You're invited to come and join us at the On Purpose family and work on purpose with purpose step by step as you're building it out. And the third practical tool I would say is to celebrate the wins, which is a huge part of what we do in the community. But celebrating the wins of all sizes and every choice that aligns with your values is a win. Think about that. Did you drink water today? Win. Did you choose kindness in a difficult moment with your partner or your child today? Win. Did you celebrate those choices? Are you doing that? Because they're the foundation of a life you love. Really simple, practical ways. I want to move this idea from concept to action for us. And I want to challenge you to pick one small choice you can make today that aligns with the life you are creating. Maybe it's calling a loved one, journaling for 5 minutes, or choosing gratitude instead of frustration in a tough moment, right? And it could be any of those. But what is one small choice that you can make today that aligns with the life you are intentionally creating. Please jump into the public community page, or if you're a member in the OP community, make sure that you jump in there and share your choice using the hashtag small choice, big life. And let's cheer each other on as we build lives full of purpose and joy, choice by choice. Thank you for joining the Choose on Purpose podcast today. I'm your host, Becky Plautz. Remember, the power to create a life you love lies in your hands, choice by choice, moment by moment. And until next time, stay intentional, stay empowered, and keep choosing on purpose. I'll see you soon.